Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on a picture-perfect day here in the city of Savannah to celebrate the Waters Avenue Streetscape project. It's about 1.25 miles from Victory Drive heading north to Wheaton Street, and the entire street has been beautified, and you'll hear much more about that throughout this project that started under the previous administration but ended under the Mayor Van Johnson administration here with the city of Savannah. A lot of special guests to welcome today. Of course, our Mayor Van Johnson is with us, along with our district alderman for this district, Dietrich Leggett. Thank you for joining us. Also, just across the street, District 4, Nick Palumbo has joined us as well. Our city manager is Jay Melder. You will hear comments from him along with our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd. Several others are with us. I see government operations, our chief, Gene Pravat, is here. Lenny Gunther, our police chief, is here, and Elsie Kitchen, our fire chief, also all joining us today for this special event here in the city of Savannah. Also, Manny Dominguez will provide a lot of in-depth knowledge of what this means for economic development beyond here. And I would be remiss if I wouldn't mention Freddie Patrick, who was very big throughout this area. The late Freddie Patrick had his hand in a lot on the east side of Savannah, and he pushed for development throughout this entire area, especially in this very important corridor. So with that, we'll hear from our Mayor Van Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning. We're here today to be able to celebrate years of hard work, celebrate successive administrations. We're here to celebrate starting a job, but more importantly, finishing a job. We're here to celebrate equity as we continue to invest in our neighborhoods and continue to invest in our neighborhoods, and proof positive is that Waters Avenue is back, and we're celebrating that today. Revitalization of our neighborhoods and traditional corridors is key to the health and vitality of the greatest city on earth, which we know is Savannah, Georgia. This is a very valued corridor. Some of the best lives that I've known have some connection to this corridor. This was the business and economic and social hub for so many in our city, and we watched it just degrade over the years through various forms of neglect, disinvestment, and we have committed to be able to bring Waters Avenue back, and today we are here. We are embodying a commitment to revitalizing and breathing life into all of our beautiful corridors in our city, and certainly that is not extended to just downtown. While folks talked often about the things that we do downtown, and we should do things downtown, this is just one small part of the things that your city government is working on. We have projects going on throughout the city. In every council district, we're supporting new growth, economic empowerment, beautification, and equity, being able to keep historic residents in their historic neighborhoods, and we're excited about that. I'm certainly very, very happy as an alderman a couple of years ago when we started this project to now completing it as mayor. We recognize that things operate on a continuum. They start, and then somebody else has to pick up the ball. And I appreciate all of our city managers for the roles that they have played on this. Certainly, City Manager Pat Monahan, City Manager Michael Brown, City Manager Heath Lloyd, and now City Manager Jay Melder for all of the roles they've played. And certainly to Alderman Bill Durance, but to particularly to someone who's probably the happiest on this day, Alderman Dietrich Leggett from the 2nd District, who played up and down these streets as a young man many years ago. Many years ago. But today, through his hard work and certainly for his advocacy and his persistence, we celebrate him and the work that we've been able to do with him. Let's give him a big round of applause as well. And so the wonderful thing about this wonderful corridor is that, as you notice, is residential, but it's also commercial. And it's also commercial opportunities that will help to benefit this corridor. So as you can see, it's all coming back, and this is a place that Savannahans will continue to be able to make an investment and build a business It's a place where they can continue to live and to call home, and you'll be hearing more about those specific opportunities from our economic development director. So today is a great day in the most beautiful city in the world, in the greatest city of the world, as we continue to do work for the greatest residents of the world. And I'm so glad that we're blessed with a wonderful day to be able to make that happen. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Certainly we are in District 2, Dietrich Leggett's district, but as I said, just across the street is District 4, and we have District 3 not far that way. So this Waters Avenue corridor certainly touches a lot of the city of Savannah. So let's welcome the young man, Dietrich Leggett.
What he said. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Alderman Palumbo, Mayor Pro Tem that's here, all of our city managers, teams, police chiefs, residents. Everybody say yeah. So right now, what we see is what we've been campaigning on, what the residents, what people who's gone on before us, this is possibilities. When you turn off of Wheaton Street and you look down Waters Avenue, you saw the gateway to the rest of the city. You can't get nowhere in the rest of this city without coming through Waters Avenue. Waters Avenue, for years, have been the economic staple for this entire region. We've brought some of the best people in this entire city. I came off of Waters Avenue. Some of the best athletes came off of Waters Avenue. But what we are experiencing right now is possibility coming to its existence. We have shops that are coming up. We have a brand new coffee shops that are coming up. We have an art gallery that might be coming soon. We have all of the economic drivers that were going to push this community forward. They are all starting to come to its fruition. So I want to thank each and every person, every resident, every person that has lived or invested in this community for where we stand right now. I thank you. I thank you for the dream. I thank you for the opportunity. But most of all, I thank you for being here and watching it as it grew. So it just didn't take myself. It took residents. It took businesses. It took people who brought their children here to change what this community looked like. Because if you knew this community from what it was, this is Disneyland. And I thank you again. I thank you. I mean, right now it makes me so emotional at times to know the people who wanted to see new things when this community had more dirt roads than concrete streets. Now we have a flourishing community that's not crime-ridden and drug-filled. Yes, we do have challenges, but we are moving forward. We have a leadership in our police department that's helping us move forward. We have a captain that's awesome. We have a mayor that has a vision. We have a city manager that have the drive, and I have partners within city council that help me and motivate us. But most of all, Live Oak neighborhood, Baldwin Park neighborhood, the Ben Van Clark neighborhood, East Side Alliance, Midtown. This right here is dedicated to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman. An interesting point down. If you go halfway down, it's 1.25 miles, but about 3/4 of a mile right in the middle. It's an old pocket park that was put in, and two of those trees, one of them over 100 years old. So it was built as a corridor and a very important corridor. Next, I'm not positive about this. Our city manager, Jay Melder, when he started a little over a year ago, but I would bet that when you were driving around the town, this is where one of the first places you were taken to look, the Waters Avenue corridor and what we've been doing here. So immediately following our city manager, our assistant city manager and chief development officer, Heath Lloyd, had a lot to do with this project. Probably a lot of scratching his head at times and probably a lot of good things as well. But immediately following Jay, we'll have Heath Lloyd.
All right, Jay. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Heath and Manny and all the team. It really is an exciting day for Team Savannah. This represents years and years of work, from the council to city managers to staff to our partners to be able to come in and finish a streetscape project that's going to bring life and vitality back to a corridor that really deserves it. And I wanted to think about the history of Waters Avenue. I'm fairly new still to the city, about 1.5 years in, so I like to start every ribbon cutting by getting a little information on where we came from. And Waters Avenue was incorporated into the City of Savannah limits in 1854, south to Anderson Street, and then extended to 52nd Street in 1901. As Savannah grew, the population shifted out to its earliest suburbs, and Waters Avenue became a thriving commercial corridor with a mix of small local businesses that you can still see the bones of today, owned by both African American and white residents and business owners. Major institutional landmarks that still serve the community in some capacity today include Asbury Church, which was built in 1921, St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, and Waters Avenue School, built in 1915 and renamed Ramona Riley School in the 1940s. The Waters Avenue corridor travels through several neighborhoods, and Alderman Leggett, or I like to refer to him as the mayor of Waters Avenue, named them off, but they're Benjamin Van Clark, which of course takes its name from Savannah civil rights leader Benjamin Van Clark, as well as East Side, Midtown, Live Oak, and Baldwin Park neighborhoods. You know, when we started to see development changes in the 1960s and 70s and the uprising of big box stores, this corridor started to change, and businesses, small businesses started to close down because they couldn't compete with the large box stores that were coming south to the area. But those trends are changing now. And that's exactly why city leadership wanted to invest back in this corridor. As you can see, construction behind us, construction up and down this corridor, not just on the streetscape project, but in the buildings and the bones that were once thriving small businesses will be thriving small businesses again. And that is really the key to economic growth in Savannah and the key to our future. And so I want to thank some of the people who helped make sure that this streetscape project, all three phases, happened. Of course, mayor and council and all of their predecessors. I want to thank Christy Lawrence, our senior director of capital projects, and Doug Patton, our senior projects manager. I want to thank Jim Woods and Kirby Jones, Carl Bathrow and Sherry Jacobs and Eric Chin. I want to thank our engineering partners at EMC, especially project lead Dan Fisher. I want to thank our contractor, Johnson Lux, and the project lead, Todd Mann, Superintendent Paul LaVille, who helped make sure that this project got done. This was a $6.6 million project through all three phases. It included $6.1 million in SPLOST pennies. This is definitely your pennies at work here on Waters Avenue, including $320,000 in general fund and a grant from the state of Georgia for $150,000. This project began almost 10 years ago. Phase one was completed in 2016, and today we celebrate the completion of this project and to the new life that is coming and will be coming to Waters Avenue, and we're all excited not to leave this area as an investment, but to continue to bring investment to Waters Avenue, and that's something that Heath and Manny are going to talk to next. So it is my great pleasure to introduce the Assistant City Manager and the man that gets a lot of things done here in this city, Heath Lloyd. Thank you, Heath.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No, good morning. So today is a wonderful day for many reasons. But you know, this morning I was on my way in and I was listening to a guy by the name of Inky Johnson. And I say that because what Ken asked me to do after he told me I was old and I had been with the city a long time, he said, why don't you tell everybody what it takes to get a project like this done? And I bring you back to Inky Johnson because what he said was commitment. I say to everybody here what it takes to get 3 phases done, as the city manager alluded to, over 10 years is commitment. Commitment, as Inky put it, is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood has changed. I remember being here over 10 years ago. Yeah, Ken, I was here. We did the ribbon cutting and there was a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. But I'm more excited not about that time. I'm excited about this time. Because this time, it shows, after 10 years, the commitment not only by mayor and council, the commitment not only by previous city managers, the commitment not only by staff, and yes, we've had some turnover, not only in mayor and council, but also in staff. I'm glad Julie's here because her team started this project. Morning, Julie, right? And now we come to fruition. So, what does it take? Well, I look at a project like this in 3 phases. The first is the promise. We came out in 2016. We made a promise. We promised to revitalize Waters Avenue. We promised to make the commitment that one day we would be where we are today, right? That was the promise in 2016. But then you had a moment. Hope deferred. That's the second part. Are we going to be able to make it happen? Can this project survive successive city managers? Can it survive mayor and council, different elected bodies? And yes, it can. That's why we're here today. But with that hope deferred comes that commitment. That commitment was reaffirmed by this mayor and council. It was reaffirmed by the previous mayor and council. It was reaffirmed by the previous city manager, the city manager before him, and the city manager after him. And that's that commitment that this project represents. And the final phase, hope realized. Today we stand on Waters Avenue. It is revitalizing. You can see the streets, the sidewalks. You can see the businesses. You can feel the energy. But that only happened because of the commitment. And that commitment today is what I am so proud to be a part of. I'm so proud to deliver projects, but most importantly, I'm proud of this organization. I'm proud of this mayor and council, and I'm proud of the citizens who stood behind us. I go through many projects. There's a streetscape project that I won't talk about today that are challenging. But I tell you what, in terms of inspiration, in terms of being inspired, in terms of knowing what the reality is and knowing what we as a team, when we work together with our citizens, our mayor and council, our city manager, and our elected officials, we can make things like this happen. So a big thanks to everybody. I appreciate the commitment. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Ken. And just remember, yeah, I was here when it started, Ken, but I'm still young. I'm younger than Alderman Leggett. So anyway, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Heath. He talked about the commitment of what goes into a lot of this, the concrete banding, the stamped concrete crosswalks, new sidewalks all the way up and down. You see the decorative lighting, which is phenomenal, enhanced landscaping, and all that commitment you definitely see because that's the physical part. But the whole philosophy behind this project was the economic development of that. Manny Dominguez has dedicated himself to making sure that this economic development revives. Manny?
Morning. I can tell you, I am thrilled to be here today. I've been with the city for about 8 years, so a lot of those 10 years have been here on Waters Avenue, a commitment from myself, my team, and the rest of Team Savannah, dedicated to this corridor in particular. And I see my team over there, and I know that they know that this is why we do what we do every single day. Moments like this, opportunities like this, and I'm thrilled to see what's next for Waters Avenue. I will say, Alderman Leggett, I think, painted a beautiful picture of partnerships, and I want to highlight that. The city's one part of it, right? Streetscapes is one part of it. Incentives, which I'll talk about a little bit, is another part. But we also have two other partners that are absolutely critical to the success of Waters Avenue, and that's the business community, including developers and business owners, and the residents. The residents of this community and the 5 neighborhoods that were mentioned have had a vision for Waters Avenue, have been passionate about Waters Avenue, have shared their history, their needs, their desires for Waters Avenue throughout. The whole time I've been with the city, we've had countless conversations. I'm so glad Ken mentioned Freddie Patrick. Huge advocate for this community, and we miss him dearly. Just want to mention a few other things for business owners, investors, developers, residents that want to invest in this community. We have this beautiful streetscape. We also, a few years ago, created an enterprise zone, and a couple of the businesses that you see here developing have taken advantage of those incentives. These are property tax abatements that attract investment and job creation into corridors like Waters Avenue. We also worked with our lending partners to create a loan product that is only available in corridors like Waters Avenue for small business. We have put a big investment into the Savannah Entrepreneurial Center, which is just a short walk from here, where my team and I work. We are investing in renovating that space, and that's an opportunity for business owners that are interested in this area to come and take classes and learn about starting a business, growing a business, access to capital, getting certified as a minority-owned business, and so on. We've also a few years ago, the city went through a long process of redoing our zoning ordinance, which has made it easier to develop and to redevelop properties in corridors like Waters Avenue. Finally, I want to mention that second partner, which is the business community. The investment the city has made here has almost one-for-one been matched with $8+ million of private investment in this corridor. And anywhere from coffee shops to a new gym to a new construction company that moved their offices here. We have retail space right here, 4 different retail spaces that are going to be going in the near future that are currently being renovated. We have affordable housing. That's the other piece, right? It's about residents. It's about providing opportunities for residents to stay in these communities and thrive in these communities. Ramona Riley was renovated a few years ago. That's 56 affordable senior housing units, $6.5 million investment. Those are the kinds of things that create a vibrant neighborhood, that create a mixed set of uses and opportunities, and are really going to drive this forward. And then finally, the residents. Their passion comes through at every meeting, every neighborhood meeting, every engagement that we've done with them. We value your support. We value your pushback. We value every time you challenge us to do better and to improve this community. And we are so glad that you're committed to this corridor. And yeah, that's just want to highlight those 3 groups and really sort of looking forward to the future of Waters. Super excited for this. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Manny. And that concludes our Waters Avenue Streetscape project. We will move the podium and we will cut the ribbon on this event. Thank you all very much for coming.
Everybody look. Then we're gonna count down from 5. Y'all gonna help us? All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.